Now, good evening, people, patriots, whoever you consider yourself to be. Welcome to a Thursday night edition of the Patriots Lab. I got with me Soup Mama Official and Jen, the homeschooling mom. How are you ladies doing this evening?
Great.
Good evening.
Good,
Thank you.
good, good. Um, Normally I wouldn't be up here on a Thursday night, but man, I tell you what, there's been so much bickering back and forth about who's saying this and who's saying that. So I said, you know what? I watched a couple of other podcasters starting to break down the actual and factual. So I figured I'd give it a try myself. And I got two of the, I don't know, I like to call them brightest minds I know. They got common sense, a lot of logic. So we're gonna see what we can do with this. But we're gonna get into the first one. And this is my man JD Vance. Y'all know him. But before we get into JD, we was just talking about JD. What was you just saying about JD, Soup Mama?
JD Vance was a senator in Ohio. And we were talking about East Palestine and, the things going on there, and hoping that he will be an advocate for getting that environmental disaster cleaned up.
Is he
Or
from that area?
um, he is. I know that he was one of the few people that when residents were reaching out, he's actually one of the few people that would get back to them.
Okay.
So I had heard some good things from the residents. A lot of them actually, I was in East Palestine when just before he was announced and his name was being tossed around a lot. So I got to hear a lot about, everybody in town, what they were kind of thinking. A lot of them were kind of hopeful. They think it's a good thing. They were really happy with the nomination. So that's always a positive thing.
What do you know about JD Vance, Jen? Before we get into listening to the man speak.
I absolutely love him. And I thought he was from Ohio. And I love that he was on the scene. I'm looking through my Facebook feed and I see JD Vance, and he's like using a stick to stir up the water in East Palestine, which I've always been so passionate about because the children and I saw this happen. And we were like, it was terrible. It felt like another 9/11, and it was insane. And he's stirring this water in a pond, and you can see the oil coming up, and just his response to it, and it just felt so good to have someone who was of humble means like all of us identify with this instead of some bureaucrat coming and setting it on fire to clean it up like it's a burn pit or something in the military. And it was not. I think they made it worse. They put it in the air, they put it in the water, and they put it in the soil. It was miserable. And I love that Soup Mama was right there giving out water and helping the people who needed it the most.
Well,
Yeah,
let's see what Mr. JD has to say. Hey, did anybody hear that Nancy Pelosi had started making a comment something about what war did JD Vance fight in, or what gun did he carry, and then she wound up backing that up because she just got all caught in the heat of the moment or some shit like that.
Drunk.
Somebody was telling me something like that. But go ahead,
I
She
heard
JD.
reference to that earlier today, something along those
Did you?
lines of questioning his service of some kind. But I didn't take the time to chase it down. And
I gotta pull that up. But let me get into my video clip. I'm getting everything combobulated. This is JD Vance. I think he's going in on the man we're gonna be talking about a little bit later here momentarily. Let's see what JD has to say. Give me some volume on that, Ray.
Career that you yourself are part of the elite. What are your first impressions of them trying to frame you this way to the American public?
Well, look, I came from a family where nobody in my family had ever gone to law school. I grew up in a poor family. The fact that Tim Walz wants to turn it into a bad thing, that I actually worked myself through college, through law school, and made something myself, to me, that's the American dream. And if Tim Walz wants to insult it, I think that's frankly pretty bizarre. Now, look, what really bothers me about Tim Walz, it's not even the positions that he's taken, though certainly he has been a far left radical. You know what really bothers me about Tim Walz as a Marine who served his country in uniform? When the United States Marine Corps, when the United States of America asked me to go to Iraq to serve my country, I did it. I did what they asked me to do it, and I did it honorably, and I'm very proud of that service. When Tim Walz was asked by his country to go to Iraq, you know what he did? He dropped out of the Army and allowed his unit to go without him, a fact that he's been criticized for aggressively by a lot of the people that he served with. I think it's shameful to prepare your unit to go to Iraq, to make a promise that you're going to follow through, and then to drop out right before you actually have to go. I also think it's dishonest. Something, again, if you guys ever get an opportunity to ask Tim Walz or Kamala Harris some questions, he made this interesting comment that the Kamala Harris campaign put out there, and I bet they're regretting they put it out there now, because he said that and he was making a point about gun control. He said we shouldn't allow weapons that I used in war to be on America's streets. Well, I wonder, Tim Walz, when were you ever in war? What was this weapon that you carried into war, given that you abandoned your unit right before they went to Iraq, and he has not spent a day in a combat zone? What bothers me about Tim Walz is the stolen valor garbage. Do not pretend to be something that you're not. And if he wants to criticize me for getting an Ivy League education, I'm proud of the fact that my mamaw supported me, that I was able to make something of myself. I'd be ashamed if I was him and I lied about my military service like he did.
I love that he called his grandmother Mama. That's kind of cute.
He's a good old boy. I mean, that was genuine. That was genuine. You couldn't make that up.
Well, the thing is college is hard, man. I don't care how you slice and dice it. I mean, those classes and things, that's rigorous. That's a lot of information. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of time. And, for the average everyday person, getting into an Ivy League college is next to impossible. So it is kind of cool, to hear and refreshing just to kind of hear out of his own mouth and not, just the media.
It is. It is. What do you think about what he had to say there, Jen?
That was awesome. Stolen valor is huge. That is like the dirtiest thing anyone can do to someone who was in the military, who fought, a lot of them gave everything. And then for someone to come up and talk about a gun they used, I'm like, what, in practice, and you left early and you left your people behind? No, they even looked bad, at him. They're like, he shafted us. We were training together, and then, it hit the fan, and they were going to be sent to Iraq. They needed more troops, and he was like, time to retire. And then what he did was he joined Congress. And this was like 14 years ago. He's only been in Congress for 14 years. He's a failed military person, and then he joins Congress. So now he's trying to stick it to us any way he can. Sorry to say it like that, but I have no respect for him.
No, you're right. You're right. And that's basically, I spent a lot of time on TikTok, and you hear people trying to defend him, and trying to say that he didn't take the stances that he took, and they're just, trying to change the whole script around. But they forget that at times, there are things that just cannot be unerased, can't be taken away from history. This is something interesting also that I pulled up on what I heard about this.
In Minnesota were upset that Tim Walz, the two-term governor of Minnesota, was chosen as Kamala Harris's VP pick, largely because they said he was a traitor and a coward. He'd been with the National Guard in both Nebraska and Minnesota for about 20 years. In 2005, when his unit was about to deploy or fighting in Iraq, he retired. And this was seen as, a great sort of instance of cowardice on his part. Now, he did retire in order to run for Congress at that time. That's what his excuse was. And he did win his congressional seat after that campaign. But I spoke to a few of his former colleagues in the National Guard who were very upset by that. And the other thing that they were upset by is that he was using in his public relations bio on his website when he was a congressman that he had achieved a particular rank of commanding sergeant major. And in fact, he hadn't achieved that. He was working on it. So he should have retired as a master sergeant. That's what technically he was, and it was a lesser rank than he was promoting for himself. The man who stepped in to fill in for Walz when he decided to retire in 2005 was a man named Tom Behrens, and he's from Minnesota. He's a farmer. And he said he had no ill will at the time towards Walz. At that point, he said to me, I had 500 troops. I had to reassure them we were about to go to war, and I didn't even have time to be upset. But afterwards, when he saw Walz promoting himself, as having achieved this rank that he hadn't achieved, that's when he started to get angry. And that's when he started writing letters, and he wrote letters to Walz while he was a congressman. He said they were never answered. And finally, he went public. In 2018, when Walz ran for governor of Minnesota, Tom Behrens wrote an open letter with another colleague saying that, he was, not that he lied about his military service, but he wasn't being forthcoming, and that he had left before he ever saw combat. So one thing about Tim Walz was that he had this long storied career in the National Guard, but he'd never been in a combat situation. He'd been to the Arctic Circle. He'd helped during natural disasters in the Midwest. He'd been up to Norway and to Italy, but he hadn't seen actual combat.
So once again, we have someone running at the highest level of office that people seem to either don't be aware or they just don't care of what these people are saying. What do you think, Jen? Hold on. First of all, Dixie Rose, I'm glad you made it, sis. I'm glad you made it. How's my brother? I hope he's doing well.
He's actually trying to get in here, I think, but I'm glad I made it too.
Okay. Well, I'll see him hopefully. But what do you think about that? I mean, blatantly lying.
It's so sad. It makes it feel like, which it probably is, a big cabal that our voices don't count. And that's terrible because the American people are seeing what's happening. Even the guy that was talking about the one that replaced him that said, at first they were going to war. They had to focus on that. He had to boost up the troops. He didn't have time to be mad until later. And I'm like, that's so sad. They were all pushing for this machine. Well, we're part of it, the country. And this is happening and we're not seeing it. We have to, I don't want to say woke. We have to wake up. We have to see these things. And this is terrible. And it's trying to happen again with KAMALA, who nobody elected her. She just kind of happened. And now he did too. It's sad.
Dixie, what do you think about my man distorting the truth, should I say?
I never like distorted truth ever. I got a lot of things I could say that I won't say on here, but
I mean, you can. You good. This ain't TikTok.
I just think they're all cowards, man. I really do. I think they're all cowards. They can't be truthful with the American people. And you see what's going on across the world. And we're sitting here with a bunch of these asshats around here, and they can't figure out what they want and what they want to do. It's disturbing, to be honest. It's disturbing. All we want is the truth. All we want are the facts. But we're the truth seekers. But every time we turn around, we're the enemy. When we're really not. They're the enemy to all of us. And this is what we have to deal with right now. It gets me fuming. It really does. And sometimes I'm just at a loss for words with it because so many years now, you're just like, what the heck? What now? It is just messed up.
It is like we're on the wrong. It is like they're trying to make it seem like we're on the wrong side.
Well, if they make you feel alienated, you're easier to control. So if they make us feel like there's less of us, we feel isolated and then we feel helpless and powerless. It's mass psychology. You guys have to remember these tactics that they use. They've been using them for a long time. Anybody in politics, you have to understand on some degree that they are misrepresenting themselves at all times, because what they're doing, and this is the problem, is they're constantly acting like they're working towards the next campaign, because they are. Because realistically speaking, they need the money to be on the committees. They need the money to be, to have all this funding so that they can actually make a difference. And until you're done schmoozing these people for all this money, you're compromised. And you have to try and keep your voter base somewhat happy. So you have to appeal to them on whatever level you can. So they twist and bend the truth to show us what we want to see, just like a circus mirror. And then you have those people that, since we're all different heights, when we're looking at those circus mirrors, we all see something different. And here's a fact. My perception in my life is my reality, and no one else has my exact reality. Just like you in your life, when you see your life through your eyes every day, what you see, your perception is your reality. So we have to remember that we're all also coming from different realities, and some people's realities are very, very skewed.
Oh man, it is damn, it's gotten way beyond that. I mean, it really has. I'm trying to find a new word that goes further than perplexed or some shit. I don't know where they're gonna draw the line, when the good guys draw the line. I can't believe we have to sit by and watch it take place. And then be made like we can't do nothing about something that we know is unjust, and they're doing it right in front of our face. What's up, Ramblin' Rick?
What's going on, brother? How you doing?
Man, trying to digest some more of this madness, man. Yeah. I'm at a loss. I've been at a loss for words for a while. I don't know where they keep coming from though. I don't know where you at, but you ain't next to no microphone.
He might be rolling through a bad area.
Oh, you on the road?
Yeah, I'm on the road, man. I'm heading to Florida.
Man, you ain't had that truck 6 months. You're gonna need a new set of tires on it already. Shit.
I'm telling you, man. I go border to border all the way around the country, all the time.
Hey, y'all give y'all prayers out to Ramblin' Rick out there on the road, one of America's finest truckers out there making America go round.
Hi, Rick.
Appreciate you, brother. But we're just sitting here talking about KAMALA's vice president pick, and
Man, that's an easy given, man. They ain't neither one of them worth anything.
Well, see,
hey, that's my opinion, bro. They crooked politicians, man. I don't do crooked politicians, man. I know how they are.
Well, so I guess we just gotta sit by and watch crooked politicians do what they do, huh?
No, not really, because they've been doing that for years. It's all a scheme, man. A lot of people know that. A lot of people don't, but it is what it is, and that's how what makes the country go around. I guess with them winning the upper hand, every election. But the American people hasn't come together to stop it. I've been saying it for years. And that's the only way you're going to stop them.
Well,
I
know.
I like Donald Trump, right? I mean,
Right.
Donald Trump, I mean, he is a go-getter, man, without a doubt. He's proved himself through his whole life, you know. And but you can also see the other side where I'm coming from. Are they going to let him do what he wants to do? You see what I'm saying?
Right.
I mean, it makes sense because he done been in there 2016, 2020. They put him out because he can't follow the rules. You know, these elites that been running our nation, actually pretty much our world for 30 years or plus. You know, it's a battle, man. It's a battle of the elites. That's what I call it. And that's what it is. It's the battle of the elites.
What's encouraging? Sorry. There's
Hang on,
more
babe.
of us
Yeah.
than them. Go ahead. Sorry, Rick.
But I pray to God, man, because God is the leader of this world. I don't care how you look at it. I don't care how anybody can see it. But this world was created for peace by God. But look at it now. It's not that anywhere. And it's sad, man. It really is that it's come down to what it is today.
Yeah, it has. All right, babe. You can't hear when people are talking, love, so it's hard. So take a break for a minute. I can tell by your mic there. So hang on.
She know her man best.
Yeah, it makes a different sound when he's writing, and I can tell when it's going in and out where he can't hear others. So that's
Right.
I'm not trying to be mean and cut him off. He just can't hear when you guys are trying to come in.
What's up, Daniel? What's up, Carlo Ruiz? What's up, Bobby Boys? What's up, sis? Christopher Florine, what's going on? Robert Harrison, good evening. Also, Bob Springer and all of those who are watching on other platforms. Jen, you was about to say something.
Yeah, pardon me. I thought that Rick had paused, and I just wanted to encourage everyone listening that yes, it does feel like the elite's against us, and it is so frustrating. But my the last person I used to do podcasts with him. I was his executive producer because I would find all these guests, and he would always end his shows by saying there are more of us than them. And that's what I wanted to bring up, that there are. And unfortunately, it feels like they have the system rigged against us. And there are a lot of elites against us. But if you count all the elites up, there are more of us than them. We just have to learn how to use that leverage for us. This is our nation. God meant it for us. He didn't mean it for the elites to take it over.
I agree with everything she just said. Absolutely everything. And we've been saying that a long time.
Something caught me just now, and I might be wrong. And if I am, correct me. It started out with the elites, but what has, in my opinion, developed cannot be undone. They have somehow managed to turn half of America against one another. And that there can only exist for so long. It's like a coffee pot percolating. Yeah, at one point I would say there is more of us than there is of them when we're talking the average American towards the elite that do this. It's a handful. But when it's American against American, that can you imagine just going the next 10 years the way we're going? There has to be a breaking point somewhere. See, and that's what I'm starting to realize now, just listening to the conversation. It's no longer us against the elite. It's us against the elite and the fucking crones that they've managed to convince that they have their best interests at hand.
Well,
That's
not only that, Ray, don't forget all these people coming in to our country. Look at all these other countries. So it's 50-50 in America, plus you have this influx here that doesn't belong. So there's even more than just that element to it as well. So I just wanted to add that in there too.
And
That's huge.
And if we sit back and understand what we're doing is, as honest, law-abiding American citizens, we're literally we're on the defense. And the reason I say we're on the defense is because their agenda is still going ahead. It would be different if their agenda had some brakes put on it. But man, they're still doing what the hell they want to do. So I'm thinking to myself, at what point does America say, you know what? We don't know what else to do but to do what we did never want. What do you do when people are just running roughshod over you right in front of your face, and you think you can whoop them until you realize they got just almost as many people on their side, plus the ones that she just mentioned. It's like, okay, damn. So now they just added 20 more on their squad, 20 million more on their squad. Okay. Yeah, first we was up against 100 million, because they okay. I won't even half of the country. I say 100 million. They had 100 million turned against us. But damn, now they got 20 more. You know, it seems like, at least to me, like it's only one option. I don't see them throwing up the white flag no time soon. That's a scary feeling, man. And you got these knuckleheads running around here acting like they know what the hell they talking about. This shit is bigger than they think. They can't even comprehend what the shit we talking about right now. That's why I had to get away from that TikTok shit. Because they can't understand what people like us that really want to really solve the problem of what's wrong. These people don't want to solve the problem. They want to talk about the problem and bitch and moan about the problem. We see a problem, we're trying to solve it, but we can't figure out how. We see it in front of us. It's like the fucking chips are stacked against us. But what are we supposed to do? Throw in the towel? Surrender? That's what they want. They want an easy victory. They want it to go that way. And then what? I can only imagine what the hell America would be like if we let them do that shit. It wouldn't be America. Man, they'd be tanks and shit. Man, they'd be patrolling this fucking country like... I'm trying to tell you, man, they wouldn't let one loose road be... People don't understand. When they get,
I don't see how some of these women out here, right? Like in your live alone, okay, that I've been on TikTok with you plenty in your live.
Yeah.
Some of these women out here, I'm a mom, okay? I am a huge advocate for kids. I don't understand how some of these moms can sit out here and watch their kids in these, they're not protests, we all know that. But they're advocating this and they're cheering on their kids. Heck no, I don't understand that. But the other thing too is, who's not going to sit there as a mother and cry thinking about what this country could possibly turn into for our children? I have a 5-year-old. It tears me apart to think that in the near future or maybe when I'm gone, this country could just totally collapse and be what you're saying. And that is absolutely terrifying. I don't get it. I don't get these moms.
Yeah. Hi, everyone. How are y'all doing?
Brittany,
Hello.
welcome to the
Hello.
lab.
Hi.
Introduce yourself.
Sorry I'm late. I was at a Bible study tonight and it ran a little late.
Awesome.
But I love our country. I'm a mom of 5. This would be my third time voting for Trump. I understand y'all's concerns because so much of what we're seeing is it almost seems impossible. Like, how are we going to get through this? But as I've said, a lot of times I've been on his show and I'll come up and request to speak. I think we're going to be okay. You know, Trump has always told us what's going on. He tells us everything we need to know. And he's trying to restore the republic. When he started talking like that, I went back to 1871 and started looking into all of that, ending the Fed, you know, the reserve currency and going back to gold backed. If you look at BRICS and everything going on around the world, I really dug deep. I don't know if any of y'all have watched the capitulation tour. You can look that up on TikTok. Just type in capitulation tour or go to Rumble and look up Trump capitulation tour. It's powerful, and it shows you that as soon as he got into office, he went around on a worldwide tour, met with all the leaders, the Vatican, everything. He got all of our gold back. He basically told these people to his face, like, listen, you're guilty of crimes against humanity. We have it all here. You're going to do what I want you to do. You're going to play my game, sort of thing. It's pretty powerful if y'all haven't watched it. I personally think we're watching what we're witnessing. How do I put this? Things aren't necessarily as they seem. And so I find it a little bit hard to communicate with certain people because, and you know, you've had to stop me several times, like, whoa. There's just certain stuff we can't go into because it's just too much for listeners to grasp. They're not even remotely there. Not to mention TikTok might not allow it. Yeah, I don't know. I think we're okay. I think we are going to witness some scary times. I don't know if I'm pretty sure y'all have seen Biden, what he has said, and I don't know the other guy's name, basically saying that there's not going to be a peaceful transfer if Trump gets in, and then that basically insinuating civil war. Did y'all see that?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
watched
they're
it.
Yeah.
literally
Yeah.
inciting violence. They're literally, people are seeing this and they're 100% emboldening their Democrats, the radicals. Like, they are 100% going to be the reason why, if there is a civil war, there is a civil war.
Wow.
Yeah.
And at that point, you think order will be restored?
Yeah. So the military is going to probably make us stay home for a few days. I think things are just going to go dark. This is my opinion based on what information I've come across. Whether it's true or not, we'll have to see, right? We don't know everything. But they're going to have to protect us. And, you know, people are going to be out rioting and whatever, burning stuff, you know, and they're going to have to get order. And so in order to protect us, we're going to have to stay home. And so, you know, I'm prepared for anything. I have food, I have water, essentials, just in case, you know.
No, you are totally right. Martial law is coming. Martial law is coming
It's
to the
going to have
United
to.
States of America.
It's going to have
Absolutely.
to. It's going to
There
have
is there's one thing, and you know, I never realized how far a military would have to go before they would actually intercede in things that went on in this country. There's getting ready to come a day when a lot of military men are gonna have to make a decision here at home and abroad.
Oh yeah.
On where they stand on the oath that they took.
Yeah, because there are some that are not necessarily aligned on the right side, right? Our military is divided.
Yeah.
We have a divided military too, and call me crazy, but Russia being as close as they are off Cuba, I don't think it's a bad thing. I think they're here is reinforcement because of the relationship Trump has with him, because we're going to need them.
Well,
that's
see,
my theory.
People, no, and you know, you're so right, because see, people need to look at the whole world view. I don't have a problem with Trump and Vladimir Putin having a relationship, if you know the reason why Putin is doing the things that he's doing with Ukraine. You know, nobody wants to have their enemy right at their back door. And Putin be damned if NATO takes over Ukraine and is at his back door. Ukraine, he could have been got rid of Ukraine. Ukraine is a buffer zone between him and NATO.
Wow.
Yeah.
They are trying to make Ukraine part of NATO so bad so they can be at Putin's back door. But see, Putin and Trump, the two alpha men, along with that young boy over in North Korea. Now, China's a different story, and the Middle East is a different story. But they have gotten us to hate world leaders of other countries. You know, the world leaders of other countries are going to do what they're going to do. Just don't mess around with my country.
You know what it's about? It's about, so Putin does not, if you've noticed what the Western world has done to countries who do not have a central bank, who do not come in line with that.
Wow.
Yeah, it's all about refusing to be a part of a new conglomerate.
Yep. Putin is the ultimate rebel to all of that.
Wow. We got totally, man, we went totally way out left field, but you know what? That's
I love it.
That's a good thing. People Patriots, for those of you who are looking at the title and saying this is nothing that's in the damn title, Patriots Lab, hey, my apologies.
Awesome.
Facebook, YouTube, X, and whoever else. That's it. But we're gonna get Mike right along. But I did have a clip from one of his road dogs, and when I say road dog, I'm talking about Tim Walz. And let's go ahead and play this clip right quick. I don't even know why we're gonna play it. I think we chewed up most of it, but we're gonna go ahead and play it just so we can get a full perspective on what this man was really like.
They're just getting to know Coach Walz's story. He is a veteran who served our nation in uniform for more than 2 decades as a member of the Army National Guard.
For 24 years, I proudly wore the uniform of this nation. The National Guard gave me purpose. It gave me the strength of a shared commitment to something greater than ourselves.
And as the Harris campaign highlights Walz's military service, well, they left out a major detail. When his battalion deployed to Iraq in 2006, he wasn't with them. He retired. He said he wanted to run for Congress. But some of the men serving in his battalion say he abandoned them and only retired once he found out they were getting deployed. Now, when he was asked about it late today, well, Walz adopted Kamala's MO and simply refused to answer the question.
Governor, Vance accused you of stolen valor. Your response? Governor!
Joining me now is Thomas Behrens, retired Command Sergeant Major for the Minnesota National Guard. Thomas, good to have you with us tonight. Now, J.D. Vance is saying this is a case of stolen valor. He obviously served in the Marine Corps in active duty. What is your take on this? Is this just, a casual mistake? Is this something far darker?
That's way far darker than a lot of people think. I mean, it is stolen valor. He's used the rank that he never achieved in order to advance his political career. He's done it for decades now, basically. I mean, maybe not decades, but damn close to it. I mean, he still says he's a retired Command Sergeant Major to this day, and he's not. He uses his rank of others to make it look like he's a better person than he is. He still does it, even, just however long ago.
Well, to that point, just so everyone understands what we're talking about here, on his biography, on his campaign website, and even on the Minnesota website, it lists him, Governor Walz, as a retired Command Sergeant Major. And his governor's bio says the same thing. It even says that is the rank he retired at. I mean, that's just a fact. You did or didn't. But again, the Minnesota National Guard told the Angle he retired as a Master Sergeant. Now, for people who don't have any military background, they might think, oh, Command, Sergeant Major, Master Sergeant. Why is that such a big deal?
It ain't the same.
Tell us why that's such a big deal.
Well, it's a big deal for the simple fact that in order to, when you get conditionally promoted to Command Sergeant Major or Sergeant Major, you're signing a document that states that you will complete the United States Army Sergeant Major's Academy, which is technically a two-year college course almost. And if you don't complete that, you don't get the rank. So you basically get reduced. It's conditional. You get pinned with E9, but then it gets taken away from you when you either quit or you end up having don't complete the course. So what he did basically was he quit. He didn't complete that condition. He didn't complete the condition of doing 2 years after graduation. So he gets reduced to a Master Sergeant, and that's what he is right now, as a retired Master Sergeant.
Well, I think the issue here is that in some of the statements that were published and some of the comments that were made, when you say you were deployed in support of Operation Enduring Freedom, it indicates to people something. And the implication is you were deployed in, I guess, Iraq or Afghanistan. And that's what most people think. And maybe it's something that's just wrong, but that's what a lot of people think. But how long did your unit spend in Iraq? And what was it like when you were there? Because, again, for people who believe that he was deployed in Iraq, people should understand what that was like.
Well, going back on what you said, I mean, technically in the old days, Operation Enduring Freedom was Afghanistan and Operation Iraqi Freedom was Iraq. And he spun this, where we were in support of Operation Enduring Freedom, and the people in the unit that he was at in Italy were, supposedly going to get deployed to Afghanistan. I mean, there's documents out there that state some of those lies. And the 173rd Airborne was in Italy. That's their base, home base, and they actually air assault, or they parachuted into Iraq at that time. So I mean, his spin was a lie then, but back then, some of the party would basically say that they wanted to Afghanistan was like the real war, and Iraq wasn't. So if you're in support of Enduring Freedom,
All right, we already know. So from now on, I don't want to see nobody on TikTok arguing with them fools over there about what we already know. My thing is, how long do we got to sit by and watch it happen?
Yep.
I mean, I hear all the good stories, but every day that goes by, these people are just doing more and more. They're doing too much.
Well,
They're doing too much.
Well, that's why I said, we've got to get people to start showing up at their local town halls, their school board meetings. It has to start local because you don't just go out fishing the first day and expect to catch a whale. Okay, it just doesn't work that way. You've got to have some practice. You got to start, you got to start with the smaller guys. And the truth is it's a lot easier to convince your neighbors that there's problems than it is to convince people states away. And the thing is that in your communities, once you start to get to know your neighbors and you start to get to know their values, the community can work together to make sure that you're holding your your regular everyday elected officials accountable for where the money is being spent, what bills are being passed, what kind of zoning laws and things, where is that funding coming from and what are the strings with it. And if those people aren't being responsible, if they aren't being truthful, if they aren't upholding their oaths, that's where we're supposed to come in and hold them accountable. But it takes everybody getting activated, and it has to start at home. People have to stop relying on somebody else to just come in, wave a magic wand and fix it. Look, even if Trump is in office, let's just say, he gets elected smoothly through, the elections. There's a peaceful transfer of power and he's back in office. That's great, but it does no good if you have shitty legislators everywhere else that stop everything from being done. And that's my point. We have to not just be looking at the president and vice president, but we need to be looking at all of the elections across the board, especially state and local.
Yep.
The states have more power than the federal government. That's the way everything's designed. Everybody's worried about one man in power, but the truth is that we've got a bunch of smaller jerkwads that live down the street that are a hell of a lot easier to hold accountable and go knock on their door and say, hey, what the hell are you doing to my community? Why are you messing it up? Where is the money going?
Yep.
Why are you taking this funding? You can look those people in the eye. You can hold them accountable. You can say to your neighbors, do you realize that this person's lying to us? Do you realize that this person's doing this? If you make people aware and you have people that are active in being those watchdogs, this can't happen. But the problem is complacency. We've replaced an active interest in what's going on in our politics with entertainment. There's too many bread and circus. It's too much bread and circuses going on. Too many people are worried about the next hockey game or football game or soccer game or who's standing or kneeling for the anthem, but they're not paying attention to what's going on down the street when you got problems a block away. They want to turn a blind eye to it. And that's how these terrible things happen, is when good people do nothing.
Yep. We've been practicing. We really do have to get back to.
I'm more of a seer on believing than hearing. I can hear people out there everywhere all day long chant back and forth at each other. I see it all over social media all the time. I just sit back and I watch. That's why I never get on platforms hardly. I never say anything. I watch and I learn. The thing I learned was in 2020, well, even before then, before 2020, we made statements by making stands. That's the American way, has been for centuries. And we flag up as freedom fighters across this world. We believe in our peace. We believe in our Lord and Savior. And that's the one that's going to save us. All these people that's back and forth, bickering, and these politicians is a prime example of how this world is operating.
Yep.
I mean, it's not in just America. It's in Russia. It's in Canada. It's in Australia. It's everywhere. And these are elites that's doing this. The media is doing this. They're dismantling this world for your billionaires to take control. And that's what they're doing. The more they can separate you, the more they got power. Ronald Reagan was the best freedom fighter there ever was. He told you how it was. He fought for this world. and tried to make things right. There's been
Right.
several freedom fighters in the past. Martin Luther King was another good one. He fought. And look what happened to everyone. JFK.
JFK, yep.
Crooked politicians take them out.
Yep.
Trump is
Yep.
another
They-
prime example of that.
Yep,
It's a never-ending thing.
he's going to
You
end the
have the boots on the ground and make a statement, a hard stand like we did in 2022 with Canada. As freedom fighters, we stood at the borders. We shut them down. I had 25 trucks on that bridge. Canada had trucks on the other side. That's what freedom fighters of the world do. They make statements. And if you get away from that, you can't. You got to hit them in there where the money is crossing the borders. Every crooked politician has money crossing the borders.
Wow.
And we know that.
Those stands can be made as well, just like Soup Mama said. They can be made in your counties, at your state capitals. It's not just that, but we have to make a stand in every direction. That's what I believe. I think we need to be doing it everywhere.
But wouldn't you agree that the local level has to be handled after we chop off this head? Because it's the head that we got to focus on right now. The lower level, we can handle the lower levels. We can start vetting the grassroots people, but we got to take care of the head. And
yeah, Ray, that's true. That's why Rick says a lot of what he says, and he sounds repetitive.
They've been allowed. Just with thinking what y'all were just saying, they've been allowed to get away with it for so long. They've been allowed to. They've been allowed to get rid of so many of our leaders that were trying to expose and make life better for Americans. But along the way, what they have only done is piss Americans off, because every year that went by, Americans remember. And now half the country has gotten to a point like us where we say, you know what? Enough is enough. This ain't us marching over the fucking bridge in Selma, Alabama. This is us saying we taking our fucking country back.
Yep.
This is totally different.
Hold the line. That's
So
what we're about.
with you, so I have a little bit of a different perspective. I do agree that the head needs to be cut off, right? Like, it's going to start with our president. A lot of y'all know Trump has said a lot about we're draining the swamp. Something to reference. I know of one on YouTube where he talks about the calm before the storm. You can literally type in Trump, the calm before the storm, where he has a room full of generals. And the media's like, what do you mean this is the calm before the storm, Mr. President? And they're like, what do you mean? He's like, you'll see. If you look at the executive orders that he left the presidency with, there's 2 that are still in place that I know of. One of them has to do with election interference. It's still in place.
Awesome.
I think there is more going on than meets the eye. I think he's allowing the crimes of these people to be exposed. We have to wake some of the, the sleepy heads out here before they can do certain things. But I do believe also
Hey Britt, let me I understand everything you're saying. When I first started doing this 10 years ago, I started following a group called QAnon. And I used to listen to people like Simon and I forgot the English gentleman's name. We have to wait and see.
Right.
Everything, once they took a shot and tried to kill my dude, everything that I thought I knew, I don't know anymore. I understand where you're going. There's a lot of people that have that same information that you're talking about, with the conversations, with the white hats, and things of that nature. We I used to be of that same mindset. Um, Maybe doing this 8 years and starting out that way. Oh, I started out with hearing about um, why Guantanamo Bay is still there. They used to have all kind of stories about people already being going through tribunals and things of that nature. I let people say what they want to say because I don't know. I have yet to see anything, and I've searched. Believe me, I've searched. Um, if it's possible that some people say Donald Trump is still president, and this is just a way of him draining the swamp, and if he was willing to take a bullet for it, I commend him. Um, but yeah, just to get back to what I was saying, I I have a hard time with that because I started out that way. I really did. And over an 8 year realm, being out on the road and being up hand and close. After a while, especially being a veteran, you start trying to understand, okay, what's the military's role? What's that's role? Um,
I have a good source for you to look at. So
who would that
I'm
be?
not that is, have you heard of Derek Johnson? He has cited all of his work, all of his sources on thedocuments.info. So I'm big about having actual, like, hard proof, like documentation of said thing, which is why I referenced the executive orders, which is why I wanted to piece together something for me. And I was able to piece together everything for me for it to make sense. Now, there is some stuff out there with Q and all that stuff that I'm not, it's out there. However, Derek Johnson, he's able to connect the dots with military laws and orders, the executive orders, understanding down to what someone is wearing at the inauguration, what happened, how Biden was sworn in before 12 p.m., down to the military gun salute.
How Biden's wasn't a
That
real
day.
military gun.
Now,
I think he got what, 3 shots or some shit like that. Are you there?
can you repeat that? The signal broke up a little.
I think that was how they were talking about how Biden didn't get the honorary gun salute. There was a one gunshot shy
Yeah.
or something like that. Yeah, like I said, when I started out hearing about all of that stuff. There was a platform, was it 22? What shit. War 20,
X-22 report.
yeah, 22 report. I used to follow all of them guys, but until
Yeah,
it
but they
comes to
couldn't cite
fruition,
source.
huh?
Yeah, I hear you.
Yeah, I
Yeah,
mean
that's why I
they
wanted to
do
provide.
the same thing. They break it down, and but it with me, I'll believe all that stuff. I'm just at the point where I'm like, okay, when is enough enough? I've seen America go through enough.
Yeah.
As
Yeah.
far as I'm concerned,
Fighters.
I think he's gone through enough right now.
Yeah,
So
exactly.
if the white hats are going to come out and they're going to start locking people up, what is it going to take? A
Let's
civil
go.
war for Biden to give an illegal order for the military to finally say, okay, there you go. You've given your first illegal. You did your first illegal act, asking us to turn on the citizens here. But like you stated, a lot of the good stand-up alpha males have been dismantled from the military. I didn't know that our military over the years have been through the DEI programs and all of this stuff have basically been transformed to turn against the American citizen. So that's something that we really got to look forward to. Obviously, you know, I got a phone call from a friend of mine the other day. Well, actually about a week ago, Brandon Howard. He's president of Right to Bear Arms in Virginia, and I haven't talked to this man about 2 years. And he called me just to see if I was okay, and to explain to me why they've labeled me domestic terrorist and a threat to democracy and all of that stuff. Well, because I remember taking the oath to protect against all enemies, foreign and domestic. So if now I got my own countrymen calling and considering me to be a domestic terrorist because I was at the Capitol on January 6th on the grass. I was on the grass. I got the video. I was on the grass January 6th. Because yeah, you say Capitol, they ready to rush up into the crib and shit. But when is enough enough? That's the scary point, because you know it has to be sooner or later. It can't continue to keep going on this trajectory.
I'm ready for them to rip off the Band-Aid. I mean, what exactly like you said, it's tiring because we know all that we know, and we're just watching it painstakingly take, just slowly go by. And what is it going to take? That I don't know. I don't have those answers. I think we're all ready.
We are. But we're going to move on to that because we are an hour into the show, and we got a couple of more videos to show before we land this plane. And we're going to move over to Giggles. And I tell you what, they tried to pump up like she had a crowd like the size of Trump. I'm going to show you the video, and you determine for yourself if she has a crowd anywhere the size of Donald Trump. But it's not the crowd that I want you to pay attention to. Listen to what happens.
Look, if he is elected, Donald Trump intends to give tax breaks to billionaires and big corporations.
Is that a gymnasium? Is that a rec center?
She's
It
at
looks
least
like it.
10 people thick. Yeah. Wow.
I mean,
that's
how many rows back? I mean, what, they got about 8 rows up?
Yeah.
I don't think that would hold the people that's in the parking lot that's trying to get in to see a Donald Trump rally.
Yep. I saw one where it was AI generated.
But this is from my man, the Black Conservative Perspective. This is a great video. Sit back, check it out, enjoy it. Y'all wanted to know why she picked this dude as president or VP.
And he
They're about
intends
to
to
let
end
you
the
know.
Affordable Care Act. You know what? If you want Donald Trump to win, then say that. Otherwise, I'm speaking.
Boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy, oh boy. I gotta tell you guys, there seems to be cracks in Kamala Harris's armor, okay? Because up until now, she has been protected by the media. And the reason why the media is protecting her is because we all know that when Kamala Harris actually speaks, her support drops, okay? And what they're trying to do is trying to make sure that Kamala Harris does not speak or answer any questions or get any type of criticism so that people are as uninformed about her positions as possible. However, that's not going to last for much longer, okay? Because Kamala Harris low-key exposed herself yesterday at a rally in Michigan, one of the Rust Belt states that she desperately needs to win, and also one of these states like Wisconsin that has a large Muslim population of pro-Palestine supporters who have basically told the Democrats that, hey, we're not going to vote for you if you do not get a ceasefire between Israel and Hamas, okay? And these people are so serious that they have shown that, listen, we will vote uncommitted. We will not vote for Democrats if you do not do what we want. They have also committed acts of domestic extremism around the country. in response to, again, a foreign conflict. It really is a damn shame that this is happening in our country. But regardless, the Democrats apparently got the message, right? So much so that Kamala Harris went out of her way to not choose the Jewish governor of Pennsylvania because they were afraid of the far left backlashing against the Democrat ticket that has a Jew that they perceive to be very pro-Israel.
And I think ultimately Shapiro, I think fit is important, but I also think that when you look at the principle of do no harm, maybe they did say in a state like Minnesota, do we want to, those 100,000 uncommitted voters who came out about the Gaza war, do we want to antagonize those voters? Those are all part of the questions as well.
So, but can I just say,
Tim Walz also spoke conciliatorily towards those people. He said, look, that uncommitted vote is significant and those people should be heard. So having that kind of response, I think, is probably more of an open door to the parts of the party that have been very frustrated with the Democrats.
So, but just to one point on the Gaza war, Shapiro has the same position on Israel that Governor Walz, that Senator Kelly has. He's actually been more critical of Netanyahu than the other two, but he is Jewish.
He's also the face of the crackdown on the protests, right? He spoke very vehemently about those campus protests as being anti-Semitic.
Not all of them. The ones that were anti-Semitic, he criticized as being anti-Semitic.
He was out front on the issue. So I'm wondering if that's the kind of thing that, again, for the activist wing of the party, they felt was a slap in the face.
Yeah.
So I think we talked about this on TikTok earlier. People were debating why Shapiro wasn't picked. And listen, I told him he wasn't picked because he was Jewish. That's it. It doesn't go with their agenda in no way, shape, or form. I don't care if he stood on this side with Tim or this side. He was the same. It all came down. Walz ain't Jewish. Obviously. I don't know what he is, but damn sure I know he ain't Jewish.
Wow.
So that's why he's El Presidente. What do you think, Soup? You think that's a legitimate reason to just throw a man in the ring because he's not Jewish?
Well, here's the thing. You and I were the ones that were talking about Shapiro earlier on TikTok. And I think that him being Jewish is less of an issue than some of the other hot water that Shapiro has himself in right now.
Right.
Because as I explained earlier today, some of you may or may not know, there is actually a lawsuit right now that Josh Shapiro is named in for the incident in Butler. And there's a lot of other information coming out about Shapiro. There's a website that you can check out. It's joshshapirofraud.com. So you can do your own research, read all about it. But I am a firm believer that it wasn't just a religious thing. I just feel like he would have created way more problems in the long run, and is too much of a risk for them as a party right now to even consider it. Because the truth is that if you're really looking at the race, Pennsylvania is a swing state and they need that vote too. And even though Pennsylvania is traditionally blue, there has been a lot of work being done in the background to flip Pennsylvania. You have people like Scott Pressler out there hammering away right now, including in like the Amish and Mennonite communities, and getting everybody signed up, registered, that kind of thing. And he's flipping counties one by one. This is why, I said, guys, when we talk about this stuff, you really have to look at the local levels, because that's where the change is going to happen the fastest. fastest. You know, these people at the low levels are the gatekeepers for the people in power to continue their crime. They're the people turning the blind eye. They're the ones taking those, you know, those bribes and those acceptances on the side, you know, for their power and prestige and all that other crap. And they turn that blind eye and let these people continue to defraud us, the American people. So, you know, it's really important to look at more than just the sensationalized part in the news, because, you know, like I said, the lady that filed the lawsuit against Shapiro, she actually had to flee the state and is in hiding with her family wearing a Kevlar vest as we speak, you know, at great sacrifice, to a great personal sacrifice to her and her family to bring these crimes to light. And she's an amazing, amazing lady. You can find her on social media under Speak Up. I forget I forget her name. It's like Hadassah or something like that. And I'm so sorry that I can't remember it. I mean, I can picture her face, but again, she's under Speak Up is what she uses on social media. And you know, again, amazing lady, but you guys can read all about that stuff on joshshapirofraud.com. It's very enlightening, to say the least.
Wow. I gotta read up on that. Anybody else?
I think I know you're right. I think it's Hadassah. I think that's the Jewish name for Esther. So I
Yes,
think
I
that's
think it's like Hadassah Feinberg or something, I think.
beautiful. Yeah, that's it. Perfect.
Yeah, she's I'll tell you what, man, she is a brave lady. She like knocked my socks off, and my prayers are with her. I think of her often because you know, to hear her story, and she's actually on TikTok and she's on Facebook and she's all over the place. But if you actually go back through and look at her posts and see her story, and you will, I mean, she'll just blow you out of the water. Amazing, amazing lady, amazing patriot. So, you know, and like I said, there's so many amazing patriots in being a Pennsylvania resident. Like, I have a lot of concerns. Shapiro's obviously my governor, so I'm a little more invested, probably the most of this panel. No offense, guys, but it is my home state. And, you know, like, I have to watch the insanity with everybody else. I mean, we went from Wolf to Shapiro. You know, we did have Levine at one point here from our state. I mean, you know, so, and now we have Fetterman too. So, you know, I mean, we're batting 1,000 over here. So, so like I said, when I'm looking at different stuff, like I said, you've got Leah Hoops out our way. Like I said, she's proving fraud left and right in Delaware County in the state of Pennsylvania. You know, like I said, they're showing the dots, connecting the dots with Shapiro. That's why I said you really need to check out that website, because the press, we all know this, the press is owned by the same people. So it's all the same information regurgitated in different words, and it's only what they want you to know.
Yep.
Right. So, and here's the thing, funnily enough, so when I was at JD Vance's press release in Philadelphia, on one of the tables, there was the joshshapirofraud.com flyers. And at some point, somebody cleaned them up and said that it was some rogue volunteer. So it's not, just a side note for you guys, it's not just the Democrats hiding this stuff. Okay, this is like, you know, everybody working in conjunction, you know, to hide these crimes from the people. And again, you know, when we're talking about changes and things, like these local levels, especially your state level, man, that can make a huge difference nationally. And it's you know, all it takes is a couple of really solid people to stand firm and plug away and be willing to take the hits and make those sacrifices, and other people to just kind of support them and make sure they stay safe. And if we can do that, we can win this. But but you know, when you are trying to move a mountain, you got to start with the shovel full of dirt. You're not going to move it all in one day.
Have y'all seen what's going on in Atlanta or Georgia, period, with the election?
No.
What they're coming out with?
Yeah, they gave Trump an apology.
Who?
It's
What?
insane.
What
I love
happened?
it.
What
Yeah,
happened?
they gave Trump an
I'm gonna
apology.
y'all gonna get rambling started. Please don't.
Who gave Trump an apology?
What was it? The governor? Who was it? Not the governor. The one county somebody or other.
Clerk or so yeah, it wasn't the governor. I can't remember the name of them, but yeah, they had to give him an apology because of the ballot counts.
Yeah, it was
Oh,
a county commissioner or something like that.
Yep.
I saw the
Dude,
article
it was
earlier.
bad. It was so bad.
Yeah.
I gotta pull that up. I gotta find that. But let's move on to the next clip for the time for namesake, and then we'll get into it. But hey, man, this shit's getting crazy. It really is.
Now at 12:30, breaking news: 2 men have been arrested in connection with a terror plot at a Taylor Swift concert in Austria. Swift is scheduled to perform in Vienna this weekend for the international leg of the Eras Tour.
The concerts have not been canceled. KTLA5's Kareem Winter live in our news center with the latest details. Kareem?
Yeah, those concerts will go on, Glenn, but so much concern about what could have happened here. Investigators say that these suspects, they planned on carrying out these attacks at major events in Vienna, Austria. And they're calling this a terror plot that fortunately authorities managed to stop before it unfolded. 2 men arrested. And on that target list, Taylor Swift's 3 upcoming concerts, a terrifying situation when you consider just how packed these shows are. There are so many children and young fans who are always in attendance. One of the individuals arrested was a 19-year-old who allegedly pledged his allegiance to ISIS. We also learned during a news conference earlier on the arrests that the suspects had become radicalized through the internet and, according to officials, had detailed plans on how to execute the attack. One thing authorities are looking into are chemical substances that a bomb squad allegedly found when they detained that 19-year-old. They're not sure if the plan was to use it to perhaps build a bomb. Swift, as we mentioned, has a performance in Vienna tomorrow, Friday, and also Saturday. It's part of the international leg of her Eras Tour, so those shows will still go on. Investigators say right now there's no immediate threat or danger right now, but they're not taking any chances this week. In fact, they'll have extra security in place at those 3 shows.
Okay. Stadiums.
I can't.
Big impact.
Extra protection? This stuff is getting crazy, man. I mean, come on.
Why are they still going to have the concerts?
That's what I'm saying, man. Look what happened to Trump. You know, that's a big deal, right? But you got Taylor Swift. Now, I'm not a huge Taylor Swift fan anymore. Okay, I'm not. But you know you got kids in there. You know you got families in there. But no, we're going to let it go ahead and go on. No, we're cool with that. Sure, why not? Just in case something might happen, let's go ahead and do this. That'll, you know, it blows my mind.
The rest of the tour, in my opinion. Money, and greed. If she cared about anything that's going on in this world right now, she'd have been like, you know what? I'm canceling the rest of my tour. I ain't putting up with this shit.
That's how they all should be. It's all money and greed. That's all it is. They got to make their name. And if they're not making their name, there ain't nothing to them. They're just human beings like you or I. They're not going to shut it down. Just like all these big shows they're doing out there, you know, in Hollywood, all this, they're never going to shut it down.
You still with us, Brittany?
Sorry, what'd you say?
I said, are you still with me?
Yes, I am.
What do you think about what happened with that Britney Spears situation? I mean Taylor
Swift. Sorry.
Oh wait, you know what I mean.
Yeah, you know, I don't know.
Is it something that we need to like really pay attention to? Could this like possibly be the beginning of what they're doing?
Yeah, no, I definitely think they're gonna try to create mass hysteria, and with the border crisis and everything, different politicians and agencies have been saying a terror attack is probable.
Eminent.
And so
God, right.
I really do think people need to stay out of big, packed places for their own sake. Not, don't stop living, but you need to be aware of your surroundings and you need to be careful, because we have been infiltrated. We all know this. So I'm expecting something.
I've always believed the attacks are going to come from within. And that's what we're looking forward to at this point. The attacks will come from within. And then whatever's going to happen between the people, just like what's happening in Europe. Look what's happening over there and all the other places. It's happening from within. Look at the 3 children, okay, that were stabbed to death. Okay, then the kids that were ripped from their homes by the police officers. This is what started that stuff over there. And now it's turned into the get the illegals out of here. You're infiltrating us. It's the same thing. America's bigger, folks. It's going to take time here, but it's coming. Our day is coming. And they're already on the streets. Things are already happening here.
I've watched these people. I've watched these inmates. Literally. I've been on their tracks. I mean, I've done everything. Not just me. A lot of us. And you know what? They're walking over here. People are being paid to turn their heads. That's your elites doing that. That's people that is making crooked money across the board. And they're over here, domestic terrorists, waiting for a command to take over this country. And that's exactly what they're going to do. Because people are blind by it.
I'll tell you this for a fact. Kamala don't care, or she would have been down at the borders a long time ago. Her VP doesn't care. He let his city burn for how many days?
Oh, you're
okay.
right.
He doesn't care, and he's supposedly a veteran, but he let his city burn. These people don't care. Once shit hits the fan, they gonna sit back and laugh. They gonna let it ride, and it's gonna be us out there trying to save this country. And that's just how it's going to be.
Let's see what the people. Let's
around this globe once again by 2022.
Let's see.
Fight their hearts out, boots on the ground, because people on social media will not do it.
Well,
hang on, babe.
This is what the people in UK are doing right now.
Is it over? Was Elon Musk's prediction of civil war snuffed out by this demonstration of civil peace? This morning, the boards came off the shops in Walthamstow. They weren't needed, thanks to a community that came out to send a message.
Wrong video.
To London. Apart from some isolated incidents in Aldershot and Chatham, the marches have been largely peaceful. The unrest came after misinformation was spread online that the suspect in a fatal stabbing of 3 girls in Southport just over a week ago was a Muslim asylum seeker. The first prison sentences for violent disorder have been handed down to rioters involved. The men, all from Liverpool, have been jailed for between 20 months and 3 years. Inquests into the deaths of the 3 girls have been formally opened and adjourned until the end of criminal proceedings, the senior coroner giving her condolences to the families and friends of the girls.
Modern look. Thick, absorbent layers. But these
It wasn't the protest police were expecting. Thousands showing up across the UK to say they denounce racism.
Show me what the community looks like!
So many, in some cases, there was literally no space for those spreading hate. The UK has been facing nationwide anti-immigration riots since 3 children were killed in a knife attack at a dance class last week. Untrue information about the alleged attacker being a Muslim and an asylum seeker circulated online. Police were reportedly expecting 100 more riots Wednesday. They had arrested more than 400 people in recent days. And now the first sentencings. This man given 3 years for violent disorder, including punching a police officer.
The 3 men sentenced today are the tip of the iceberg and just the start of what will be a very painful process.
Tensions have been high across the country, but especially in communities like this one. There's an immigration center here that was named as a target in lists circulating online.
Did y'all see what just happened? That man got 3 years for what he just did.
Yep. But you see what I'm talking about with the stabbing of those kids. One incident can create mayhem.
That's right.
And that can happen here.
Well,
No joke.
well,
And it could be worse.
What about that cop that just shot that lady and killed and executed her? That black lady with the pot of water or some shit, you know?
Oh, that was a couple weeks ago.
A couple weeks ago, yeah.
No, that made me want to lose my mind, go whoop somebody's ass.
Yes,
You know what I'm saying?
exactly. And what worries me is what's going to take the cake, man. Like that right there should have, I mean, a lot of people should have been out on that one. But what's really going to take the cake to pop this country off? That's what I'm concerned about. The complacency in this country is scary.
We're percolating. We have the animosity of some of us living the JFK assassination, some of us hearing about it. Martin Luther King Jr.
Guys, think about it.
All of that is built up along with all of this shit that we're dealing with as a society. And half of America has finally said, you know what? The gig is up. We're done. So they have managed to still hold on to half of society, though, half of the population somewhat. So that's what's making it harder.
Here's the thing, though, guys. I mean, we have seen a lot of crazy stuff just in the last couple of years. So let's just do a quick rewind. We had BLM riots.
Right.
We had Chaz or Chop or whatever the heck you want to freaking call it. We had the George Floyd riots. Then you have Jan 6. We have to, we'll talk about it. We'll throw it in there because, it's definitely notable, if nothing else, right? You've had the convoy. You had the Texas border convoy. You've had people, just recently in the Capitol, taking down the U.S. flag, burning it, defacing our monuments. And, nobody did anything about that. And somehow they had flash bombs and all this other crap on the Capitol, but that wasn't an insurrection, even though there were arms there. I'm still trying to figure that one out. If you really look at it, we've lived through all that crap. And on top of it, we have boys that want to be girls, girls that want to be boys, girls and boys that don't know if they're girls, boys, cats, or dogs. And people are encouraging all of the insanity.
So, when in your lifetime, or I can't recall anybody, granddad, when did you ever see anybody take down our flag and put their fucking flag up?
Yeah,
that's a turning point that you can't. That was America. You have fallen.
Yep.
We are here and we have taken over. That's all that shit said.
And there's been zero accountability.
Yep.
Zero accountability for that.
Well, there's no accountability because they're on the same squad. See, that's what I'm talking about. It's just, look, it's gonna come a day, and it's sad because the same people that allow these people to take down this country's flag, to put up their country's flag, are the same people running this show. That's why they allowed it. You think Trump would have allowed that shit?
Nope. It would be
Nah.
time.
No, my question is, I haven't seen it so far. Has anybody else seen in any of these other countries with the Palestine flag? Has anyone seen them take down a flag and burn it or put it up in place of that country's flag? Think about that.
You can't do it.
How sad is that?
Only here in America, because we want to have freedom for everybody. Everybody's entitled. No, they put that to go under the shit and have their way of taking over this motherfucker under that shit. Convincing people,
Exactly.
damn, can everybody just do what they want to do? Are they entitled to burn the flag behind this? If we can't, man, look.
Well, and because this has gone on for so much, it's empowered people to think that it's okay. So it's empowered people to think that these illegal acts are not truly illegal. What's up is down and what's down is up at this point.
That it is.
And that's why I said we have to start in our backyards. We've got to start. I mean, look, people want to talk about, for example, I brought up the kids and the cats and dogs things. Let's talk about, let's just for a second here, the litter boxes in schools, people all up in arms. Well, if you're at your school board meetings and you're there to say, absolutely not, you're not going to do that in this educational facility with my child, and you have enough of your neighbors there to say that, they can't do it if you hold them accountable. And if they try, you get them out. Look, there are plenty of ways to combat a lot of this stuff that we're seeing on a national and international level at a local level. But people are misled to think that somebody up at the top is going to wave a magic wand and fix it. It really just doesn't work that way. It's the same concept as trickle down economics. It doesn't freaking work. We all know this. It doesn't work because the greedy still stay greedy. Those in power still stay in power if you don't take them out. And sometimes, just like with the mob, you got to start with the little guys and work your way up to the big fish.
Hey, Soup Mama, are you aware that many of the officials in our government are in fact de facto?
A lot of them haven't even signed their oaths of office.
Exactly. So here's my theory. My theory is that we're not going to have to do nothing right now because they're all going to be removed.
Who's going to remove them if we don't? See here, this is my okay. I'm so sorry. I've listened to a lot of the stuff you say, and I kind of agree with Ray. Like the Q, it kind of falls too much into the Q thing. See, here's my problem with saying somebody else is going to take care of it. It's like the donkey and the carrot. Okay, the carrot's out in front of you and you keep going, somebody else is going to take care of it. Somebody else is going to take care of it. And you're just walking along with your little blinders on and nothing changes. We have to be the change. We have to be the cavalry. We are it. The people are it. We are in charge. We are charged with being the lesser magistrates. That is our job per the Constitution. It is not somebody else's job. It is our job to get our asses up out of our fucking seats and down to these courthouses, down to these school boards, down to these legislators and causing a ruckus. That falls on us. That is our civic duty. And too many people keep wanting to push that shit off onto somebody else, going, somebody else is going to do it. And guess what? That's how we got here to begin with, because too many other people depended on other people, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. You get too many of these people out here for too long and they go, well, I'm tired of doing this crap for everybody and nobody even pays attention. I'm just going to take that $5 out of the drawer. And that's how it starts. And then that $5 goes to sending money to Ukraine, coming it back and laundering it into campaign funds. Okay, that's what this shit does. Because again, if we depend on somebody else to do it, it is not gonna get done. We are charged with that. That is our job, not somebody else's. It's yours, it's mine, it's my neighbor's, it's the next door neighbor, it's the person in the next town, every single citizen of this country. It's a job. If we want our country, we have to keep it. It is our responsibility to keep it.
And I do want to say something on top of that. I just want to give a little positive light into what she's trying to say here, because I am in Texas. Okay.
I'm in Texas as well.
I have a very good friend, and she's a huge advocate for dealing with the public school systems. Now, in Texas, they're going to implement God back into the schools. I know a lot of people don't like that, but I think it needs to be done. Okay. Based on my faith, I think it should. I grew up with it. I thought it was great. School was a lot better. Okay. But they're working on a lot of other things too, as well as the differences with the girls and boys, whatever the communities are. They're trying to keep that out of schools, make it more after school programs, things like that. These are things that are being fought for in a lot of these counties here in Texas.
Yep.
So we need to really look, we need to look at what she's saying and not take it personal, but understand that she's not wrong. The elements in your counties are extremely important. You have to focus. I'm in a totally different county than what I grew up in. And I have to sit here and look at each and every individual. The guy here, he's a pretty good guy. I haven't found anything on him yet. I'm not going to say where I'm at. Hope everybody's okay with that. But this right here, this town that I'm in, okay, it's kind of 50-50. I'm going to say that. It's 50-50 right now between your right and your left, okay? But it's getting more into the right because there's literally people, I see them all the time. Their flags on their vehicles. They're going to these different district places and they're talking to people. They're talking to the big guys and they're making things happen here and absolutely love it. So that's awesome. That's what she's trying to say. You know what I mean? So she's right in a lot of that. You got to nip it in the butt where you can.
What it is, that's momentum that we have to keep going. The grassroots momentum. What it sounds like and what I think it is we have too many things going on too many fronts. So we all gonna have to pick lanes because we got caught behind the fucking 8 ball. This shit has crept up on us and bit us in the ass. And I mean, if we was walking through the woods and if it was a snake, it would have bit us. Because I mean, it's happened so smoothly. I mean, these smooth people have indoctrinated and incorporated the things they wanted in society. And hey, thank God for us being able to just be aware now. Thank God I'm able to be aware of what the hell is going on. Because everybody's right. Soup Mama, you are 100% right. We have to focus on that local level. And then we need them warriors like Ramblin' Rick that's going to go ahead and go after the head. And then we need those brains who going to fuck around and try to fix the financial system. And then we need the brains. So they got us all the way around, but the right way. And man,
everyone has their mission. And Soup Mama's probably heard me say this a million times. Each and every one of us has a mission and a journey in this process. We have to decide where we're going to stand our ground. And like my husband says, hold the line, whether it be in your town, whether it be in your county, whether it be at your capital, or whether it be blocking up some bridges, wherever the heck you want to do it. Make that your passion and make that your mission. And we will, in time, succeed. Everything great takes time. And to prevail over evil, that takes way more time than anything. But we will make it. Okay? Because good always prevails. So everybody needs to remember that. When you're stressed out like me, take a break. This is the first show I have done in probably two years, I think. Wow. So yeah, it's been rough, but sometimes you got to take that break. And I'm putting that in there for anybody that's watching this. Don't indulge yourself so much that you lose your sanity, because you will.
Yeah,
I'm not going to lie to you.
Over this, people are making themselves sick over this. It's not that
absolutely,
it's but you need to take care of your health, your mental, everything. Yeah, take a step away.
Yeah. We do a lot more than just this. And Soup Mama and Ray know that. So just the political side of this, holy cow. Yeah, step back, man. Step back, because that's all you can do.
Hey, we've been serious for a minute. I just found something I wanted to play earlier. But this just goes to show you how freaking scripted these Democrats are. This shit is hilarious. You got to see it for yourself. I've seen it already, but if you haven't, get a laugh.
Speech twice in a row. Watch this.
It really is good to be back in Wisconsin. It is so good to be back in Michigan. Listen, let me tell you, I am clear. The path to the White House runs right through this state. And listen, I am clear. The path to the White House runs right through this state. I took on perpetrators of all kinds. I took on perpetrators of all kinds and had a summer job at McDonald's. I had a summer job at McDonald's. So hear me when I say, so hear me, Detroit, when I say, I know Donald Trump's tight.
Oh my gosh, I want this. Please send it to me.
This is great. It's like Project Mockingbird in real time.
I know.
It's great, but it pisses you off at the same time.
Did you hear the compilation about them saying, oh, they're weird?
Well, the end where it was timed perfectly, that was great.
That shit is crazy. She can't even come out. She has nothing original. It's like,
Yeah, no, you don't want. She doesn't. No, they don't want her to go original. That's the
no,
problem.
yeah, but stay on script.
Yeah, no, yeah.
She sounds like a stoned philosophic kind of person chilling on a mushroom cloud somewhere
hey,
when she goes unscripted.
All laughing aside. All laughing aside.
Tomorrow was yesterday, today.
Passage of time.
I don't know why you laughing. She got people gonna vote for her.
It's Marxism. Her, the
gonna
way
vote
she
for
speaks
her.
is like a true Marxist.
Yeah, exactly. You know what? That right there is sickening to our country, sickening to the world. That's another Joe Biden. That's another 4
She's
years
worse.
you're looking at.
She's worse.
Worse. And you know what? They're already scheming. They know what they're gonna do. They don't have that many people that likes them, but like William said, they are some that that gets what they're about. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not about politicians whatsoever because straight up for years and knowing stuff behind the scenes and stuff, they're crooked and they want your money. That's all they care about. And they're gonna do everything they can to get that. From the American people that struggles. Because they don't care. They don't care about your kids. They don't care about their own kids half the time. That's just the facts of it. They're gonna get richer, and you're gonna get poor.
And they're going to say the same thing over and over and over again all the time.
And if there's a civil war, it's our fault. It's not their fault. It's ours.
Trump.
Yeah,
No.
it's never their
Donald
fault.
Trump. I don't know if you can pull up some of his rallies, but this man, I praise him because he has never stopped since they thrown him out of the White House. He's never stopped rallying.
No.
4 years that man has went around this country several times.
And they haven't left him alone. And he's not even president, and they won't leave him alone.
No, they won't. He's lost a lot of money too. You think about that. He's lost a ton of money. But no, everybody wants to think, oh, he's this rich man. They're taking him for everything he's got since he got in the White House. It's sick.
100% freedom fighter. And how you know that is? Freedom fighters never stop. Look it up. All the way from the centuries.
Yeah.
They never stop.
Have y'all
And fighting. Your politicians, they come and go.
He can't hear you when you talk. Sorry, guys.
Kamala, Biden, they no-shows. They're no-shows half the time. They don't care. Your freedom fighters will fight tooth to nail, blood, sweat, tears, and never stop fighting for their family, for their God, for their country. And they want to see a change. And that's what they believe in. And that's what they're going to succeed in. If they don't get taken out by these corrupted, crooked politicians, that is a whole line of them that you got to fight through. I ain't talking about just a handful. I ain't talking about just 100 of them. I'm talking all the way down to your local attorney, all the way, local judge,
right,
in your county. You got to fight all that mess. That's a lot of fighting that you've got to do. And for him to stand up there and he's got his people, his warriors, just like everybody else, and they're backing him 100%, and they're doing things to help this country, and they live, breathe it, and they take that for free. They do it for free.
Yeah, the problem we have though.
Still
Okay.
They still
Hang on, babe. Babe, can you hear me yet? Hello.
hear you.
Okay, hold on. The problem we're having though is his rallies are packed. Don't get me wrong. Okay, shh, hang on, baby. But a lot of these people are looking for Trump to be the savior. They're kind of like what Soup Mama says. Stop looking for that person to save you. Get out there and do it yourself. There are numbers out there backing Trump. Numbers. I'm talking people. Imagine if all these people went to where they needed to be and used their voice and applied what they know to help. Think about that for a minute. But all they're doing is playing on social media or going to the rallies, and they're not really accomplishing anything except for looking to Trump to save them. And Trump as a man, not as a politician, as a man, because he's a good man. Watched him for years. I mean, okay, my dad got me into Trump, and you have to look at him as a human being, not as a politician. And that's what a lot of these lefties don't understand. They're looking at him as a politician. Oh, he's so bad. Okay, everyone is bad in their own way. Politicians, yeah, you got some greedy, nasty politicians, but Trump is a whole new world walking in there, right? That's why everybody's like, oh, Trump. I get it, but come on, people. Get out there and do something about it. Help this man. That's what he's calling for. When that bullet flew by him, what did he do? He threw his fist up three times and said, fight, fight, fight. That's every freedom fighter across the world. Yep. Listen to that. He's not inciting violence. He's saying, step out there and do what you need to do for your country. That's what he's saying.
Just picture every person that shows up at a Trump rally. If every person that showed up at a Trump rally went to their capital, even their state capital, right? Do you know how fast stuff would change?
Wow.
Like, honestly.
Oh my gosh. Like,
think about it.
Hey, no.
That's awesome.
Do you know what the change would be like if all of them people would just get active in general other than a Trump rally?
That's what I mean. If they would just go to their school board meeting. Imagine every person that was at a Trump rally show up at your school board meeting.
Or show up to the smaller rallies that Trump ain't even going to be at. Line your highways. Line your freeways. Line your overpasses.
Imagine if every single one signed up to be a poll worker.
We got so many people that think just because they sit behind and do a podcast or something that's it. No, you can do more than that. Like me, I do a podcast, but I also get on the convoys. I also go to the rallies. I go and I pay for this shit. So I try to stay boots on the ground as much as I can. But
you're doing a great job. You're doing a great job educating the masses and everything. I think it's important, the conversations that you're having, because people need to open their eyes.
But like she just said, people think because they show up to a rally and support Trump, they're doing something. But in actuality, they're looking for Trump to save them.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, and I mean every word of it.
Go get your neighborhood to do a corner flag wave, bring some attention, get out there. Just don't pack it up when the rally's over, and think your next assignment is when you can make it to the next rally. You know, put all your Trump shit away until the next rally.
Well, the thing we're looking at here is, I mean, I know you guys are a TikTok and you see it. You know the red wave, right?
Yeah.
Who's on the Trump train and the big red wave and all this? Okay, guys. The masses, right? If the masses would actually get out there, boots on ground, that is your red wave. That is your Trump train. But they won't do it for whatever reason.
They're too interested in making money on TikTok. See, that's the problem. Like the problem with social media is all these people want to be influencers, right? Everybody wants to be the big cheese. Nobody wants to be the behind the scenes, like prop guys. When you put on a play at a school, right? You have the stagehands and you have the actors, right? Everybody wants to be the actors. Nobody wants to be the stagehands. But without the stagehands, the actors don't get to look good. And that's what people don't understand. It takes everybody with every kind of talent. And they all just want to sit back on social media, collect their dollars because of their views. They get their hits of dopamine, and then they can feel good about themselves. Oh, well, because I'm an influencer and, I let people know about everything, and that's good enough. And I can just make my money, and then I can buy my Birkins and my Louis Vuittons and support all the corporations that are oppressing me because I'm so oppressed.
I love how she put every bit of that.
Happens. I'm serious though. It's a bullshit thing. Like, I'm sorry, but my inbox, I hate TikTok. My inbox is flooded with, "Hey, gorgeous, how are you?" Even now.
No, not you too.
"Hey, do you need a sugar daddy?" Yeah, I need a sugar daddy, but I ain't paying you no $100 for Bitcoin. Here's my PayPal. Feel free to send it to me at any time. I'm here in the States. You can e-transfer. I got an account for that too. Okay? But please don't sit there and lie to me. Don't try and scam me. I'm done with the MLM bullshit. I don't want to hear about that either. Okay? I'm not there to make friends. I'm not there for everybody to like me.
Yep.
But see, all these, that's just like that Gen X train. Oh, Gen X, we're on board. We ride at dawn. Yeah. Well, it's dawn. Where are you guys? I'm waiting. Hello, I got breakfast cooking. Where you at? Smell the bacon?
Yeah, I gave up on that one. I actually tried to use that to my advantage. It did not work. I tried to use it. Did not work. I was like, you know what, y'all people, I'll talk.
I did too, and it just made me mad. Yep. It made me mad because there's so many people full of hot air. They want to talk the talk, but they don't know how to back it up. I miss when we were growing up, because when we were growing up, if you wanted to say something, you had to say it nose to nose, face to face, and accept the consequences for whatever you said, good, bad, or ugly. And that sometimes meant getting your teeth knocked down your throat. But you know what? It was called accountability. And everybody had accountability then, because if you said something and somebody else heard you around you, you were held accountable by your neighbors and your peers. That's why I said community works perfect. That's why local is where you go, because you can apply pressure locally much easier than you can everything else, because it's more tight knit. Everybody knows everybody. You know what I mean? But this social media thing, it's just Russian roulette.
Yeah, they don't want to know. I tell people all the time, I get so tired of people saying, "Well, I want to go." Well, guess what? Put some gas in your fucking tank, get in the car, and drive. Well, it's 5 hours. Okay. How bad do you want it? Sure, I drove
only
all
5
the way to
hours.
Texas. I drove all the way to Texas, 19 hours.
I don't even know our miles.
Further.
Wow,
I can't wait to see mine this year.
Y'all miles out. Yeah, well, y'all drive way more than I do.
Soup Mama's probably getting close to mine and Rick's miles, but we got some miles on us, that's for sure.
No, you guys are still beating me because I take days off, but
true.
What these people don't understand is we come out of our pocket 97% of the time. We come, because I ain't gonna give it 100, because there are people that bless us along the way that appreciate what we're doing.
Yeah,
But
sometimes somebody will buy you a meal or a tank of gas.
Yeah, but other than that, man, you're reading your gas tank, wondering if you got enough to make it to the next one. It ain't like you're going out there like I'm ready to stay out here for the duration. You going out there because I know I'll be out there like I gotta head back soon, money running low, and then you really don't want to head back, and depending on who's around, they might get you a couple of days or whatever, but people don't understand what it's hard, man.
No. Some of us have been through hell and back.
Your bills at home too, right?
Right.
You're still paying
that's why I'm saying.
You're still paying your electric, cell phone.
Yeah. Like I said, some of us have been literally through hell and back, and we're still not stopping. And that's just how some of us has lost everything.
Their homes?
So,
Oh, shit.
Yeah. Look at me and Rick. We lost a truck. We lost our home.
I was going to
We
say,
lost
think how
a
many
lot.
the vehicles that have been sacrificed, man. I mean, I know so many
Dude.
people who have lost vehicles in the last 2 years. Hell, I lost one too.
Yeah, it's brutal, man. It really is. People, they don't see that side of it because they're not literally paying attention to that side of it. They just think we're out here being crazy, and we're not. We're risking it all to do the truth. You know, wake this country up. Try to save what we can, but we need more people doing it. We as a person can't do everything. We need more people out there standing up. Like I said, these people at these Trump rallies, I wish I could just go stand up there with Trump and say, hey, can you guys get off your asses and maybe help the man out? You know, because tell me, he pulled me up on stage. I tell you what, he's been pulling people up on stage. If I find him at a rally, I'm going to make sure I get on that stage because I'm going to have a lot to say.
Yeah, when you get to the front lines, it is mighty thin. I ain't gonna lie. I mean, you go into the galley and everybody eating and it's plentiful and you can go up on, but boy, when it's time to get to the front lines, it's mighty thin.
I look at the way people participate right now is a lot like, it's kind of like when you're okay. So let's say you're a homesteader, right? And you say you're as a mom, okay, I need you guys to go out in the garden and I need you to pick all these vegetables or whatever, and everybody's like, yeah, I'll get to it. And so mom goes out, she does it all. She puts it all in the pot, she makes it, but there's only enough for like one person, right? So then she just keeps it for herself. There's a story or something. It was kind of similar to this or whatever. And she takes it, or whoever takes it all for themselves. And they're like, oh, well, you didn't put in the work. You didn't do this. You didn't go out and weed the garden or anything like that. So now you're coming to me, and you wonder why there's nothing left, right? It's the same thing. It's like everybody's participation. They wonder why everything's so watered down, taking so long. Well, because there's so few of us working on it. The more of us that are working on it, the more plentiful things are. So if you have a bunch of people working out in the garden to collect all kinds of vegetables and stuff, you got a great stew that you can serve to hundreds of people, right? Versus just one. But you need everybody's help to do it because everybody has to contribute. It's like stone soup that the hobos used to make. Everybody used to bring an ingredient and you throw it all in the pot and it made a hearty stew.
It makes me wonder how many people out here are going to want a participation award that just went to rallies.
Yeah, like here's your gold sticker.
You ain't getting shit. You ain't getting nothing. You ain't getting nothing at all.
We the OGs, man. We get it all. Okay, I'm just saying. Somebody at some point is going to get an award here.
Hey, if I ain't seen you at the front lines, you ain't getting a damn thing.
Listen, y'all can keep your rewards. Reward for me is going to be seeing my babies and my grandbabies, grow into ripe old ages, being able to make wonderful decisions in a free country. That's going to be thanks enough for me. I don't give a shit about the rest of it. So y'all can keep your stickers, your medals, your awards, all your other riches and all that other stuff. That don't matter to me because the most important thing to me is my children, my grandchildren, and the generations to come, that they are free, that they have choices that they can make in their life, because that's truly what freedom is, man. The choice to be who you want to be, to go out and have whatever occupation you want to have, or live the life you want to have. Because without being able to make those choices, you're not free. And I just want that freedom for my kids, for your kids, for everybody else's kids. So like I said, damn these participation trophies and stickers. I do not give a shit. I don't need the history. I don't need to be in the history books. I just want there to be history books. You know what I'm saying?
Amen, sister. Amen. That is the ultimate award. And that is something that, man, that needs to be said everywhere, to be honest. Maybe we just need to start popping videos out like that, because that is it. That's just it. These people need to hear that. Like, get out there and do what needs to be done, because that's the ultimate award. Whether they listen or not, we don't know, but it's something that we can push, because that right there is a statement in itself.
It is. Well, we're gonna get ready to land this episode of Thursday night in the Patriots Lab. I want to thank everybody that came. We had a full house tonight, and I really do appreciate it. We talked about a lot. We went down different avenues and different roads. I did have a question though. Listening to Kamala Harris, how many roads lead to victory? Because she was in Wisconsin, she said that they were the path to victory, and then she was in Michigan, and she said they were the path to victory. I don't even think she know what the hell she's talking about. But
She
man,
don't. She's got a script.
But
the saying goes, all
you
roads lead to Rome.
But the scary thing is, people are falling for that shit. That's what scares me. That's what scares me. It's not what they're doing, because players are gonna play, ballers are gonna ball. Don't hate the player, hate the game. And yo, these people have fell for it, hook, line, and sinker. And man, I just take it one day at a time now, because I don't know what I'm gonna wake up to from one day to the next. I really don't. I just hope it's peaceful.
Amen.
I just hope it's peaceful. So any last words from the panel before we go ahead and put your head on a pillow?
I think we good. I think we got a lot out there, William.
Yeah,
I'm
absolutely.
proud. I'm proud of this one. This one informative, and there's some good family of mine up here, and the others. Beautiful.
Yeah, there's some amazing points too tonight that were made throughout the discussion, and I really think that this was amazing today. I'm so glad, Dixie, you and Rick managed to make it on the panel tonight. I was so glad, earlier, Jen, is it Jen?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Yes, Jen. I'm so bad with names. But I was so happy to see her. I haven't seen her in quite some time. That's the first live I've done with her probably in over a year. So this is like a family reunion for me tonight. So I'm just so glad that I got to see you guys. I love you guys. Please be safe on the road. Dixie, good luck. Good luck. I read your
Yes,
post.
ma'am.
Good luck. I am praying
you got my
for
number
you
too,
and rooting
so
for you.
you got my
So-
number. You can reach out anytime, and I'm here for all my family. Straight up, that's just how it is.
Well,
Me and
just
Rick are
know that
loyal.
I am behind you. I'm rooting for you. I'm praying for you. Okay, so good thoughts,
That's what
good
my-
vibes, everything your way.
As long as I can back it up, I'll be good.
Rick, bro, hey, I'm sure I'll see you hopefully sometime early 2025, unless you just happen to pop up on the brother anytime sooner. You know, there's a lot of things going on. I will be along with Soup Mama in Ducksburg, Virginia, September 13th, 14th, and 15th. Don't know where y'all gonna be at on the road, but knowing you guys, if y'all can make it anywhere, y'all will be there.
You know how we roll. We say where we're gonna be. We pop up.
Hey, and even when you don't know where you're gonna be, you pop up. So hey, in your line of work, you don't know where you're gonna be from day to day, but I know if you can be there, you definitely will, no matter where it is in this country, Canada. Like Rick said, border to border, baby, border to border. I want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight. We had a great time. Everybody be safe out there. Keep America in your prayers. Keep your families tight. Keep your enemies closer. From the Patriots Lab to everybody out there, you already know. In the meantime, in between time, till the next time, we are out. Peace, everybody.